Recording. Okay, we're recording. Hello. You ready? Hi. Hello. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, sup? My name is Elmo. Today, we're doing the reader's profile tag. I was tagged in this a little while ago by Ellen at Ellen Made Book Club, and you can find that wherever it is. I'll put on screen. Yeah. You may have noticed the fancy mic. I've been looking for an excuse to use this mic for ages, but it doesn't plug into my iPad for some reason. Probably because it's got a fancy connector. But I'm using my laptop today, so hopefully you can appreciate the quality. So let's have a look at some of these questiones. Question 1. What for you makes a good book? I love a book that's got some drama. It's why I love dystopias so much. Political drama, hell yes. Control and rebellion, hell yes. Engaging stories every time. I love a good character. Love a character I can get behind. Flawed is good, but just ones that make sense. I have something in my eye. Preferably ones that make sense. It's why I like Katniss so much. I have found women written by women hits different. That's what I've learned this year. Also, a good book for me is one that doesn't feel like work to read. I read for academics for too many years, and only this year am I reclaiming the fact that I can read and enjoy it. So yeah, a book that doesn't feel like work is a top-notch book. Question 2. What are you currently reading? I'm currently reading Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This is a library copy. I'm about halfway through, so it's looking good. It's very fun, very fun. Love the characters. If I had more confidence when I was a teenager, these characters would be me. It's a good time, and apparently I'm gonna have my heart broken, so great. I've also just started reading My Year of Rest and Relaxation. It's interesting. I'm getting good character vibes, and I don't mean the characters are good people. I mean there's an interesting aspect to the characters that I think is going to get explored, which love that. And Sign Here is just kind of, it can go away. Which brings me to, what's the last book you didn't finish and why? You could probably see some of my laptop stickers, by the way, so just enjoy them. The last book I properly DNF'd would probably be this little shit right here. This is Diary of an Oxygen Thief. It's anonymously authored, and I can tell why. I've only read 10 pages of this book, and I was filled with such untamable rage that I refuse to read any more of it. That might have to change because it is still on my shelf. I've not gotten rid of it. Something in me wants to read it, but I just don't feel like there's going to be the payoff that I want there to be, and that's going to piss me off more. Just, is it even going to be worth it? Probably not, right? So anyway, that's the last one I properly DNF'd. The last book I abandoned, if you've been on this channel before, I abandon books frequently and then make videos where I finish them. The last book I abandoned was Sign Here. I got halfway through like the past week. I've not touched it. I think the reason I abandoned it is because it changes character perspective every chapter. The chapters are like 2 to 3 pages long, so it's a lot happening constantly, but also nothing's happening because it's changing so frequently that it feels really slow. I'm halfway through it, and I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, well, enough has happened for me to feel like this should be near the end now. Like, I've taken in so much information that's probably completely irrelevant to the rest of the story. It feels like a drag at this point, and it probably does have decent payoff later on, and I will finish it. I'll probably even finish it this year. I have to finish it because my mum wants to read it, but I'm halfway through and I just can't. So there's your answer to that. Question 4. What obscure book do you wish other people would read? This is Waubgeshig Rice's Moon of the Crusted Snow. There's a sequel now, by the way. Oh, what is it? Moon of the Turning Leaves? This is an amazing book, and I wish more people would read it. If you're a dystopia fan, you will like it. Just straight up. Apocalypse fan, dystopia fan, whatever. It is good. I read this at uni when we were doing a collaborative module with students in Canada. It is written by Waubgeshig Rice, who I believe is First Nations. Let's read the author profile in the back. Author and journalist, originally from Wasauksking First Nation, yeah. And there is a sequel to it. So this book is in series, and I can't read the second one yet. I can't read it yet because I would have to either import a paperback for like 3 times the cost of a regular paperback, or wait until they print outside of North America. I just can't justify the cost at the minute, but I do really want to read the second one, like pretty desperately. I really want to read it. Desperately want to read it. I just don't know when that's going to happen. It has fewer than 2,000 reviews on Storygraph, I believe, which is a bingo fill. I promise I'll make a video about my bingo at some point so people know what's happening. But I just need more people to read it. Basic wrap up, the only details you need to go into this. I'll read you the blurb synopsis thing. As one society collapses, another is reborn. With winter looming, a small northern Anishinaabe community goes dark. Cut off from power and communication with no foreseeable resolution, only very few residents truly realise the community's shortfalls. When unexpected visitors arrive, escaping the crumbling society to the south, tensions rise and allegiances are divided. The harsh winter months pass slowly, and the food supply dwindles as the death toll and panic rise. But the greatest threat to the survival of the reserve might come from within the community itself. It's winter dystopia, thriller, apocalypse vibes. Please, for the love of God, go read this book. It's one of my favourites, and I might reread it. I might reread it in December. One of my favourite books that I wish got more attention, and I'm going to read the sequel when I can. Question 5. What is the longest book you've ever read? This is a bit sad, but the longest book I ever read was Gone by Michael Grant, that I read when I was like 14. I do not read long books. I just don't. I tend to read books around 300 pages or less. I do have a few on my shelf that are more than 500 pages long, as Gone was, but I do have long books on my shelf that I am wanting to get to. Again, it's a bingo fill, but I've got The Book Thief, Feasting, Secret History, Time Traveler's Wife, Night Sleep, Death Stars, Under the Dome, and Bradbury Volume 1 short stories. I also have His Dark Materials trilogy as like one book, which is definitely over 500. I read the longest book I've ever read over 7 years ago. Oh, that's depressing. Okay. Question 6. If you could have a dinner party with 5 fictional characters, who would they be? Katniss Everdeen, Guy Montag, Uncle Satoru from Days at the Morisaki Bookshop, Kristen Raymond from Station 11, and Cersei from Cersei. I think that would be vibes. 5 books you'd want if stranded on a desert island. I feel like the last question was a bit of a setup. The books I would have are The Hunger Games, Fahrenheit 451, Days at the Morisaki Bookshop, Station 11, and Cersei. All of those are the books that the characters are. Anyway, question 8. 1 book you could not put down. I am not a big non-fiction reader, but the book that I couldn't put down this year was Strong Female Character by Fern Brady. If I didn't have things to do on one of those days, I would have read it in 2 sittings. I couldn't put it down. It was too good. It was too good to relinquish to the ground or a desk or a shelf or a bag. It stayed in my hand and I read it, and it was a great time. Great time. Question 9. 5 books or authors you would never read. I mean, the first one I hope is pretty obvious. Diary of an Oxygen Thief. I don't know why it's still on my shelf. Don't ask me why it's still on my shelf. Osamu Dazai. I read No Longer Human earlier this year. Shit. Didn't like it. It was in my recommendations on everything and I hated it. So I don't think I'm ever going to read any Osamu Dazai book. The Twilight series, not only because the author was pretty problematic in the way she wrote them, but I don't think I'll enjoy it. It was of the era of Hunger Games, so there might be some parts of it that are like, okay, but I'm not going to want to read it. I've got enough on my shelf as is. Cloud Atlas. Fuck that book. I DNF'd Cloud Atlas, and it was something I had to read for my degree, and I DNF'd it. I was completely and utterly bored by that book. The technicality of it, the like open and close being on other sides, interesting, not interesting enough story-wise. So it's in my banishment box. I am getting rid of it. I don't know if I would read another David Mitchell book, to be honest. He might be one of my blacklisted authors now, but yeah, Cloud Atlas, never again. And then the last one, I couldn't really think of another author or book, so I put Jeff Vandermeer. Listen close. The Southern Reach trilogy is now now a quadrilogy. There's a fourth Southern Reach book. I was very disappointed with Annihilation. It set up all these questions and then didn't answer any of them. And I understand how that can be a feature of the book. Like, that's kind of the whole point, that Area X is anomalous and there's things we won't understand about it. But the point of the expedition is that you do. So why are you not delivering? Why is the character bringing up all these things they want to know at the start of the book and then not investigating any of them throughout the whole thing? Do you see what I mean? Like, I don't get it. And that's probably a me issue. I've seen plenty of other people reading Annihilation and the Southern Reach trilogy and enjoy it. I didn't. I'm not bothering with the others. I can't remember if Jeff Vandermeer has written other things I would be interested in. I feel like maybe he has. I don't know if I'm gonna risk it. The setup for Annihilation was brilliant and the execution for me fell short. So Jeff Vandermeer, I don't know if I would read him again. Which brings us finally to question 10. If you were to write a book, what would it be about? I'm going to play coy because I am currently writing a book and I'm not going to tell you what it's about because I want to finish the manuscript, because I've never finished a manuscript because I tell people what I'm writing and then I just don't have the drive to write it. I'm currently writing a book and it's going well. By the way, I'm not being, secretive about it because there are prospects for this book. I'm being secretive because I want to finish writing it. But I have a lot of book ideas. Some are actual novel type ideas. I have a biography that I worked on once. I have a collected works that still might be a thing actually. Writer by trade. I have a few book ideas that I'm yet to complete and you don't get to know about them yet. You will eventually if anything happens, but for now you're in the dark about that. But that is the reader's profile tag. Thank you very much Ellen at Ellen Made Book Club for tagging me. Who would I like to tag? I would like to tag Melanie at A Dark Corner of the Library. Ashley, my lovely, have you done this tag? Now's your chance. Go ahead. I would love to see Brittany at Brittany and Rose Reads do this tag. I don't know if Isobel does tag. Feeling up to a tag video? Go ahead. Also, Alice at Read with Alice. Tag you're it. No obligation at all. There it is. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're having a great time. Hope your reading's going well. If you're reading, let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you're reading. Give me a comment. Tell me what you're reading. Is it good? Are you enjoying it? Is it bad? Are you going to DNF? Let me know in the comments. So I'll see you when I see ya. See ya. Anyway, that page is just not loading. I think it hates me. Pog champ, please tell me the audio was recording. Thank God. Okay.